Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. Today we're treating this space like an interactive workshop where we are going to break down the absolute wildest thing we experience as humans, the psychology and biology of love. Specifically, we've tailored this for Indian Gen Z, because let's face it, navigating the unique and honestly sometimes chaotic landscape of modern dating is a lot. So if you've ever felt completely confused by a relationship or wondered why your heart literally races when you see that one certain someone, you are in the exact right place. Let's get into it.
So let's kick things off with a pretty foundational question. Is love just some magical, unexplainable feeling in your heart, or is there actually a complex scientific equation happening right inside your brain? You know, we're constantly surrounded by movies, memes, and quotes telling us that love is destiny or fate. But today, we're going to look through the lens of science and psychology to uncover what is literally happening inside your body when you fall for someone.
We've structured this explainer as a masterclass with 4 key modules. First, brain chemicals and evolutionary logic. Second, identifying your attachment style. Third, escaping the digital comparison trap. And finally, building long-term relationship resilience.
All right, let's dive into Module 1, Brain Chemicals and Evolutionary Logic. It's time to unpack the famous chemical latcha and our deeply wired survival instincts.
You know that insane rush when you first crush on someone? Well, that is your brain getting a massive hit of dopamine. This is the excitement hormone. It fires up your brain's reward system, creating this instant feel-good energy boost and, frankly, a bit of a rewarding obsession. Think about that sudden massive burst of joy and pure relief you get right after finishing your final exams. It's exactly like that, but directed at a person, feeling this intense curiosity to know absolutely everything about them.
Now, oxytocin, that is where things get really interesting. Known as the cuddle hormone, it's released during moments of physical intimacy, and that can be anything from just holding hands to sharing deep eye contact. It builds incredible trust and creates the secure bond that is absolutely crucial for long-term relationships. In the Indian context, this actually perfectly explains how oxytocin facilitates that slow, deep, and secure connection we often see developing over time in traditional arranged marriages.
Next up, we have serotonin, which acts as our obsession balancer. If you've ever found yourself constantly checking your phone, overthinking, and wondering why they haven't replied to your text yet, that's your low, early-stage serotonin talking. It literally drives those obsessive thoughts. But the good news here is that as love matures, your serotonin levels naturally stabilize, and that brings a profound sense of peace and overall well-being to the relationship.
So looking at this chemical cocktail through an evolutionary lens really highlights a massive contrast between 2 very different approaches to pairing up. On one side, we have the ancient survival logic of traditional arranged marriages. This prioritizes family compatibility, background checks, and stability to basically ensure group protection and survival. But on the other side, we have the fast-forwarded world of Gen Z romantic priorities. Modern dating apps essentially hack our evolutionary drives, allowing us to prioritize instant passion, physical traits, and emotional chemistry with just a simple swipe.
Moving right along to Module 2, Psychology. Identify your attachment style. We're going to do a quick self-assessment of your emotional patterns.
Okay, I want you to be totally honest with yourself for a second. Do you find yourself seeking constant reassurance and overthinking why they haven't replied to your text? If the answer is yes, you might actually lean towards an anxious attachment style. Psychologically speaking, this often stems from inconsistent parenting during childhood, where care was sometimes heavily given and other times completely withdrawn. That kind of inconsistency leaves you constantly seeking reassurance today and makes you highly sensitive to any perceived distance from your partner.
On the flip side, does emotional intimacy terrify you? Like, if your immediate instinct during vulnerable moments is to pull away and demand space, you might have an avoidant attachment style. And honestly, this brings us to a very specific, incredibly common cultural context that I think a lot of us are going to recognize immediately.
I bet you are intimately familiar with the phrase, "Beta career par focus karo, feelings baad mein." For those who might not know, it translates to, "Child, focus on your career, feelings can come later." This mantra is absolutely everywhere in high-achieving Indian households. And the thing is, it creates a constant demand for emotional shutdown. By teaching kids to suppress their feelings in favor of academic or career success, it inadvertently turns so many young adults into avoidant partners who find it incredibly difficult to process or express intimacy in the real adult world.
To make a bit more sense of our psychology, let's look at a concept called Sternberg's triangle of love. It's a framework showing how balancing 3 pillars, intimacy, passion, and commitment, totally dictates the kind of relationship you experience. If you just have intimacy and passion, you get romantic love. Think of an early-stage college crush, hot but usually short-lived. Combine intimacy and commitment, and you get companionate love, which we often see in best friends who turn into partners or in successful arranged marriages. But the ultimate goal is consummate love, which requires all three. Interestingly enough, Indian parents typically emphasize the commitment part, while Gen Z naturally chases the passion. Hitting that happily ever after peak, that requires consistent, intentional effort to keep all three of those elements balanced.
Welcome to Module 3, Escaping the Digital Comparison Trap. Let's talk about navigating Instagram versus reality. So Pew Research actually highlighted a massive issue for our generation. Get this, 30% of couples experience jealousy directly because of social media dynamics. From tracking who is liking whose photos to overanalyzing read receipts, our digital world has become a huge source of real-world friction.
It is so incredibly easy to fall into the comparison trap when you're bombarded with highly curated online highlights. Insta-love is all about dreamy dates, perfect lighting, and cute hashtags, all of which just triggers deep FOMO and insecurity about your own relationship. But what about real-life love? Well, it's found in simple, comforting routines, like just sharing a basic meal of dal chawal. It includes all the unposted struggles, the messy fights, and that authentic, face-to-face vulnerability. True Gen Z growth means actively choosing these unfiltered, authentic connections over the stressful illusion of virtual perfection.
And finally, Module 4, Building Long-Term Relationship Resilience. This is your practical action plan for smart love.
All right, here's your action plan. Step 1, communicate clearly. Seriously, do not assume your partner can read your mind. Express your needs openly. Step 2, prioritize self-love. This means taking real responsibility for your mental health, going to therapy if you need it, and working to heal generational trauma so you can bring a strong, secure self to the relationship. Step 3, do a digital detox. You've got to stop comparing your behind-the-scenes reality to someone else's highlight reel. And step 4, look beyond looks. You can literally hack your own evolutionary drives by valuing long-term compatibility, shared values, and emotional safety over just superficial traits. If you actively follow these 4 steps, you can ensure your love acts as a vital support system rather than just an anxious dependency.
So, as we wrap up, I want to leave you with this final, provocative thought to chew on. Will you settle for fast love based on the illusion of digital perfection? Or will you do the real work to build smart love, deeply rooted in authentic connection and true self-awareness? Because at the end of the day, understanding the science, the psychology, and the cultural forces behind love is the very first step toward actually mastering it. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep learning, keep reflecting, and always choose connection over perfection.